And I don't know if it's purposeful or if it's just the way things have evolved, but the way the system is now, with how we get our information, with how we're tribal, with the 24-hour news cycle wrecking our brains, it is killing us.
In the past couple of weeks, including the last show, we have discussed the psychology of mass belief in authority, and that conversation led to something deeper. If systems reward emotional activation, outrage, fear, tribal loyalty, then over time, they will produce more of it. And now we're living inside that environment. Information moves faster than reflection. Reaction speeds faster than restraint. Outrage travels further than nuance. But here's the harder question. What is that doing to us? Not politically, not ideologically, neurologically, relationally, physically. So the question becomes, what are the human costs of a media ecosystem that rewards constant emotional escalation?
Okay, that's a fun one.
I feel like this is just a continuation of what we were really talking about on Monday.
Yeah, it kind of is. I made like a story arc out of it.
Yeah, this is previously on In the Blind. No, I think this is a great topic because, Dan, we always talk about how tribal politics are and how, people are in this camp or that camp. It's a 1 or a 0. We've gone to a very binary way of thinking. Not everybody, of course, but we certainly have a very sizable sect of the population that's that way. And what it does is there's a lot of things that it does to us and how people respond to things. And if you make even one comment, I noticed this when I used to do my live show. I'd say one thing and somebody would call me a bloviating conservative jackass. And then the next time I'd make another comment that might be perceived as somewhat left. And they, you a liberal cuck tree hugger, all this stuff, And it's weird that people have that visceral response to even a single comment where they're willing to put you in this basket. They're going to put you in this bracket. And that's where you are. And the anger in the responses it's just amazing. And so what's happening neurologically is I think people are carrying around a lot of anger and they don't even understand why they're mad. They're just being told by whatever tribe they're in that you're supposed to be mad at that group. And if anybody even has anything that resembles any part of that group, get mad at them and put them down as much as possible, dehumanize them, trash them, make them seem like they are beneath you. And that's a dangerous, dangerous road to go down, I think.
It is. And it's interesting because on this channel, and I believe on your channel, though I don't want to speak for you, and certainly on my channel, TCF, we're purposefully trying to not do that thing where you're either with us or you're against us. We try to have conversation. We try to bring community together. And I think for the most part, we're successful at it. But it's interesting that you brought up this topic, Beth, because you and I have not discussed this, as we never do. But I've actually been thinking about this very thing for several days now and was actually about to write a piece on it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But yeah, I'm not going to give away what we're talking about because.
But it's interesting that it came up because I've done a little homework and about how we're all so mad all the time and we're all so angry all the time because info's moving fast, reaction's moving fast, as you put it in your intro, and it is most definitely breaking our brains, and even more than that, it's breaking our bodies as a whole. We're designed to handle short amounts of stress, short amounts of troubling situations and handle them quickly and then have time to recover before the next thing comes along. And that's where cortisol comes in, you know, a simple thing in short bursts to get us through the troubling moment. It gives our bodies everything we need to get through it. The problem is in the way that media moves now, the way information moves, the way everybody's getting siloed, is we're all getting bombarded by it all the time. So we're all more tired, we're all edgier, we're all fatter. Our brains are fried.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
Dude. I mean, it's no different here, but
No.
It's because our bodies are just constantly dumping cortisol into the mix because we're all just on edge, because all the information that's flowing from the powers that be is this negative. You need to pick one side or the other. You need to be worried about this and that, and it's nonstop, and it's killing us.
And life is, for lack of a better way to put it, hard enough as it is. Life is tough for most people. I mean, yeah, there's always the guy that, well, my life's an expressway of green lights. Great. Wonderful. But for most of us, life is tough. It's challenging enough as it is, just day-to-day living. There's so many strains on us as it is, just getting by. Then you add in, yeah, but you have to hate that group of people, and now we're going to have a war over here, and we're also going to, and it's that group that's making everything bad, and we're trying to make everything good, but they're bad, and really it's all about talking down the other side. There's always got to be another side, and it's always that group's fault. It's always somebody else that's and it's that somebody that's causing you all this grief. And so you'd better make sure that you hate that group, because if you don't express the same level of hate for that group that I have, maybe you're kind of secretly part of that group. And if you dare to be in the middle, well, you're even weaker than the other group, because if you're in the middle, you can't even pick a side. You're just a fence sitter. What good are you? You're just standing by and watching everything burn. And, and so there's this, it's tribal. It's so tribal that if you choose not to participate in the tribal, you're even worse than the people in the other tribe.
Yeah. If you're the milquetoast fence sitter, you're in a lot of trouble.
I always say
it's got to be through the roof.
Yeah, like I call myself an agnostic, but it's not just a religious agnostic. It's sort of there's sort of a political agnostic. There's a ideological agnostic in a lot of. Oh, sure, I have opinions on many things, but you can't put them into a neat category of left or right. I always just say I'm delightfully in the center. And it's, again, that doesn't mean you don't have an opinion. It means that I don't want to join those sides. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be in a hate group. I want to be able to, because I think as soon as you start to put yourself in one of these camps, and it's not just political, it's sociological, ideological, whatever. When you start putting yourself in these camps, what happens is you start to lose objectivity. And I think ultimately that's something that we've lost big time. And it's that neurological part of this that's the discussion. And that is our inability to see things that are bad, even if it's people that we like or admire, or groups of people, or a political party, or a sociological construct. We can't see that it may have flaws because we're a part of that. And we think if we start pointing out flaws, then we might have to look at ourselves. We might have to be introspective and find out that we may have some of our own flaws. And we don't want to do that, because that would mean I might have to engage in some sort of self-improvement or at least accountability. And God forbid we do that.
Yeah, that's the. I lost track of what I was going to say, but I think it's because this situation is complicated and there's a ton running through my brain because, again, this is something I've been thinking about for a while now. But we can't think objectively because we're also wrecking ourselves by not being able to think objectively. It's this doom loop that's going on.
Yeah.
Physiologically. It really is.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this is a whole chicken the egg argument of where it started, and I don't think it really matters anymore. But we hear bad thing, or we hear must choose this side or that side. So it's a stress point. And then we deal with bad thing, or we pick side, and then that just stresses us out more.
Yeah.
And then the next stressor point comes along, and I don't know if it's purposeful or if it's just the way things have evolved, but the way the system is now, with how we get our information, with how we're tribal, with the 24-hour news cycle wrecking our brains, it is killing us.
Well,
that's the conclusion that I have come to. We are dying from it.
Yeah, you're right. But I'll say this. This is, again, as we point out a lot on these kinds of topics, this isn't exactly new. Being tribal goes back to, well, as early as man has been on this earth, right? But
yeah, but
the part that's different is nowadays, because of the ubiquitous nature of the internet and the ability for people to have connectivity to everyone else through social media and through whatever, this instant communication with anybody and everybody, and this ability that the whole world is your stage. Now you can tell everybody else how you feel. And if you see somebody else is in a group that you're not a part of, you can lambaste them. And it's this easy access to the ability to put people on blast. And look, hey, I'm not saying I've never put people on blast online. I mean, I've certainly done it many, many times. But I like to think that if I'm going to put people on blast, it's for a good reason. It's because let's not confuse putting people on blast or getting angry at somebody or being upset at an idea that somebody espouses for a legitimate reason with just blind hatred, right?
Yes.
So somebody does something that's bad, okay? Somebody does something that's wrong, or says something that's, let's just say, racist or just disgusting in some way, or does something that's disgusting in some way. I mean, it's okay to say, I don't like that. I think that's wrong. That's one thing. But when you say everybody that is in X group or Y group, they're all, they're all jackasses, or they're all tree huggers, or they're all, you give them these labels, these pejoratives. That's the problem I have,
Yeah. And even beyond that, you're right to say that, like, the tribalism and all of that is nothing new. But what is different from what we had even earlier in my lifetime is that there was still at least an act of respect for the other side. And this goes both ways. You can try to label me as going political right now, but the truth is that everybody's responsible here.
Well, it's not just political, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's not. But we see it in our political spaces because, again, that's the stuff that's dumped in front of us, and we're expected to take our sides there. But the other side is treated like they're Satan or Hitler or whatever. Pick your bad person or bad demon or whatever, and it's completely unhealthy. It used to be, there's debate whether or not how much truth there is to this, but there was the saying that back in like Reagan's day when he was battling with Tip O'Neill, at the end of the day they would often sit down and enjoy a drink. And I would believe that to a point, because I don't believe they hated each other. I think they had different views of how the country should go, and they were passionate about their stuff, but I never got the impression that those two just flat despised each other. And but nowadays you're expected to despise the other person.
Absolutely.
I mean, I didn't watch the State of the Union the other day because, to be honest, I could care less, but
I didn't watch it either.
But the news reports were all very clear on what went down. There was a good portion of the other side that did not show up for it. They did not stand for him. They did not applaud even upon entrance, all this kind of stuff. But, you know, so these moments where it used to be we could at least come together and be civil and say, yeah, I don't agree with this, but that's my president. So, you know, happy to have you here. All right, I don't agree with that, so I'm not going to applaud. But yeah, there's that kid up there who's got cancer. Let's applaud for him. You know, there was at least some points where people could rally. Now that does not exist. And again, it's more stress points.
Maybe. Yeah.
And this is just a highway to hell. It is a road that will lead to the end. And the more and more I see, the more and more I study. And I study. I don't read. I don't take the first source. I study. But the more and more I see of it, the more and more I'm convinced that we're killing ourselves. We're killing our society. And it's messed up.
Maybe it's the Mandela effect. I don't know. But when I was a kid watching the State of the Union, because I used to watch all the time. There was one thing, it's something I watched. I don't know. I was always I was a talk junkie, a political junkie. Even as a kid, I was into all that, and I'd watch. And Ronald Reagan, George H.W., Bill Clinton, the other side showed up. They were respectful. They certainly may not agree, but there wasn't like all these comments. It didn't sound like a friggin' comedy club with hecklers. When the president spoke. And I think I cannot remember precisely when it started, although I know it was going on a little bit maybe right at the end of the Bush the W. Bush administration, the George W. Maybe 2007 or 8, and then carried over bigger into the Obama, then the Trump, then the Biden. I mean, it just kept growing and growing and growing. And now it's like it is a heckler's group, and that is not what it should be. And look, I don't like any of these guys, right? I heckle them from here, but if I was sitting in that chamber, I'm not going to heckle them. Okay.
No.
I think there's a certain respect you have to have for the office. Even if you feel that the person in the office has no respect for the office or for the country, even if you feel they're the biggest piece of hot garbage that's ever been served up on a cold plate in the existence of man, maybe just for 30, 60, 90 minutes, whatever, keep your mouth shut and just sit there, listen to it. And here's the other thing that's happened is that I think this started in I want to say the early mid 2000s, where the other side has the response to the State of the Union.
Yeah.
Now I might be wrong, but I swear that started in the 2000s. I don't remember it as a kid.
Yeah, that I believe started with Clinton.
Okay,
maybe when I
first
saw it.
Maybe it was the late 90s. Maybe But I swear that in and of itself just tells you it's like little kids. Well, I have to get my response to that in there. And it's like, look, instead of having some official party response, you have all this media. Just go on and just talk about it. And look, you can certainly have your disagreements with what's said. That's not a problem. But why do we have to have an official, response, because then what's going to happen is then we're going to have the official response to the response. It's like the after show for a show that then has an after show of the after show. Man, the stuff they were talking about was really interesting.
Yeah. Well, we've got about a minute and a half left on this one, Michael.
Yeah.
Real quick, I was just going to say, because I Googled it, I was curious. The response to the State of the Union is actually a lot older than I think any of us thought. It actually started in 1966.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't remember ever. I don't know that it got broadcast then.
Yeah, it said Republican Senator Dirksen and Ford delivered their first televised rebuttal to Lyndon B. Johnson's address.
Interesting. The more you know.
Anyway, sorry. I was just trying to be nerd and answer the question.
That's fair.
I think, I remember it. Yeah, right at the end of the Clinton administration is when I remember it.
Yeah, same with
maybe
me.
2000 or 1999, something like that. That's about when and even then I just heard about it. I don't remember seeing it or hearing it until, again, like the early mid 2000s on NPR and on whatever, CNN or whatever. I would see it there or wherever. And it's weird. It's just strange. I don't know. It's just, we've all gone mad in so many ways, Dan.
We have.
Yeah.
We have. So time is up, but I do want to make one point if I could real quick,
Yeah.
since we kind of got on the whole president's thing. So in my lifetime, I have had as a president Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden. So 10 different people. What do you think is the one thing I have wanted out of all 10 of them? Even when I was a baby with Nixon and didn't know. But it was...
Besides money? Or...
No.
I'm kidding.
No, it's for them to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing I think we lose sight of, regardless of what's going on, is we've lost the sense of common direction. I think that's the biggest thing that's breaking us. It doesn't matter whether there's an R or D behind the person's name. We should all be rooting them on to succeed.
Because
with
if
Trump,
they succeed, it's a trickle-down effect.
With Trump right now, I don't care if you love him or hate him. You should be, if you're a person of faith, you should be praying for him. You should be hoping that he does well. You should be hoping he leads this country in a positive direction, because that just benefits us all, rather than us siloing off and being stressed about everything and killing ourselves.
I've never cared if an individual politician does well personally. But the country and the people in the country, I always want to see do well, regardless of who is in power. And, I'm a little younger, Dan, but not by much. I started with Carter when I was born, and, and I've always, it's weird, you want all that, and it's never, the benefits have never really come like they're supposed to, have they?
No, but this isn't the path either.
No, it isn't. No,
that's I think it. So yeah, that brings that discussion to a close. I don't know how well we answered your question, but we're passionate about it.
That's fair.
Hey, thanks for watching. In the Blind is a news show for Mike and me, and we'd really love it if you could hit the subscribe button, do a thumbs up, leave a comment. All of those things really help this channel get found by other people, so we'd really appreciate the support. Thanks so much.